Hello everyone, this is my presentation for my event. So the event I have chosen to do and to plan all of those things I have chosen is I'm hosting a track meet. And since this is kind of fictitious and we get to play around with it a little bit, it's going to be hosted by one of the Dallas Lions clubs. And basically it's going to be for the purpose of raising scholarships, as Lions Club events typically are. Okay. So, like I said, this is going to be a Lions Club sponsored event, and it's going to be hosted at Waxahachie ISD Lumpkins Stadium. That's a pretty massive stadium. Some of the reasons that I chose Waxahachie specifically was because they have a very elite track program. I think that hosting this at their stadium will generate a lot of entries and a lot of interest from teams all over the state, maybe even some surrounding states as well. This is going to be an elite high school event. So the Dallas White Rock chapter of the Lions Club, their goal here is going to be to give away 40 $1,000 senior scholarships to the graduating class of 2026. So by hosting this event, the Lions Club hopes to reach their goal of raising at least $40,000 in revenue from this event alone. And again, they're going to partner with Waxahachie ISD. So just a little budget summary overview here. So the goal revenue is $40,000. Now I've decided, since this is going to be such an elite event and there's going to be a ton of high schoolers there and their parents, their families, everyone coming. There are going to be thousands of people here. So the budget is going to be $13,500, which is a huge budget for hosting a track meet. A normal track meet, high school track meet, granted not this many teams, this elite, is normally only a couple $1,000s. But we want all kinds of people to be coming to this event. This is going to be an all-day track meet. It's going to take forever, only because there's going to be so many entries and so many teams here. And I have a slush fund of $1,500 for this event. So I'm not going to go over every single line here of the budget, but basically the total cost for Lumpkin Stadium is going to be about $1,750. Now, like I said, a normal high school track meet only costs about a couple $1,000s, but we have to rent a facility here because the Lions Club does not own a huge stadium to host an event like this. Now, normally it costs more to rent Lumpkin Stadium, but because we are a nonprofit organization, Waxahachie ISD listed in their website that they will rent for cheaper for nonprofit organizations like the Lions Club, specifically for events for just general welfare for the community. So it's going to be, let's see, total cost for all things, that includes catering and everything else, is going to be about $13,200. Now, we look at the estimated revenue from all the entries. So, a normal high school meet probably has about 15 schools enter for like varsity boys, varsity girls. And entry fees are always determined by team, unless you only have about 4 or 5 people entering. So, by team, a normal private school probably charges about $500 per team for entries. But public schools probably only range from about $300 to $400. But like I said, this is going to be an elite event. We're going to have all kinds of catering. We're going to have everything flagged off, all types of rentals for those things. So entries are going to be $500 per team. That's for varsity girls, varsity boys, and then we're also going to have some JV teams at this meet. So I'm hosting this meet in January. The ideal date here is January 10th, 2026. So the reason for this date, January 10th, 2026, is that most high school outdoor meets don't start until the end of February. So we want to get ahead. This is going to be an early meet. We're not competing with other meets, and this is can be used as a practice meet for JV or can be an elite event for these varsity teams. So assuming that I get 30 varsity boys teams, 30 varsity girls, and 15 JV and 15 JV boys and girls, that's going to be a total of $47,000 in just in entry fees, which is going to be most of our goal. Now, also from concessions, we're going to spend about $5,200 on concessions. That's between Chick-fil-A box meals, honey butter chicken biscuits from Whataburger, Jimmy John's sandwiches, and all the chips, popcorn, hot chocolate, coffee, candy, all of that. The estimated revenue is going to be a little bit less than double what we paid, which I think honestly might be lowballing it just a little bit. But that's going to be about $10,000 just from concessions from the concession stand. So the estimated revenue for this entire meet is $57,000. So that leaves us about $3,000 to play with outside of the slush fund to raise $40,000 for our 40 senior scholarships. Now, a little bit about the event timeline. So there's not a whole lot to do for the 6 to 12 months prior of this event because a lot of it is hosted by, well, it's hosted by the Lions Club and a lot of it is put on by volunteers from the Lions Club. That's kind of what I'm counting on. A lot of high school track meets, a lot of things happen from volunteers within the district or just volunteers from other schools. Coaches are doing a lot of the exchange zone officials, all of those kinds of things. So for 6 to 12 months, I just want to establish a general plan, set a date, and reserve the site. Obviously, those two are going to go hand in hand. Just talking with Waxahachie ISD, hopefully that date will work. If not, we could move the date to maybe a Friday. This should be before students go back to school. So if we had to move the date to a Friday or Thursday, that would be okay. But the January 10th is the goal because that's a Saturday. We want it to be all day long, and we just want to have tons of people there as spectators. So about 3 to 5 months prior, we're going to place an order for all of the rentals. This is going to be from proprental.com, and that's going to include stuff like the starting blocks, the hurdles. I believe that's going to be about 100 hurdles we're trying to rent, as well as about 15 starting blocks. We're going to continue just advertising the meet over social media. Just generate interest, but I don't think we need to pay for advertising. Just for a high school track meet, I believe that generating interest through social media and just kind of contacting different schools will be enough. Now I'm also going to contact UIL and hire all of the staff, which should be through UIL. The only staff we're going to actually be hiring for this event are going to be some of the athletic trainers and those materials, which from Waxahachie ISD. And then we're also going to just be hiring a starter, just one, because he's going to start every event. There's obviously only one track, we just need one starter. And then we're going to hire 4 exchange zone officials. I think that there are only 3 exchange zones on a track, but hiring 4 would be great just because the relays kind of get thrown around. Sometimes people are not necessarily paying attention. We want to have a 4th person. And then also, we're just getting contact information for everybody. Waxahachie ISD, all of the catering, and then all of the officials from UIL. We're also going to start asking for volunteers. So most of our volunteers are going to be running the concession stands, helping put hurdles on and off the track, and just running those types of things. Sorry. Anyway, just gonna go back here. Yes, and we're also going to make the payment for the stadium to Waxahachie ISD. Now, 1 to 2 months prior, we're going to confirm all of the catering orders and confirm all of the dates with our hired staff. And just making sure that we're communicating with them about what date has been finalized, and then we want to get a firm list of volunteers and all of their contact information. Getting everyone's contact information, especially in this time period, is going to be vital. Now, by now we should have obtained or at least gotten a specific delivery date for all of our rentals. And that stuff is just going to be stored at like some Lion Club facilities. Well, receiving them should probably be within the week before the event, but just making sure that all of those materials have been confirmed orders. And then also making all of the catering payments. Now, 2 weeks prior, I think, is when the team registration is going to close. So by then, we want to know who's coming to the meet, how many we should be expecting, in case we need to change some of our catering to be more or less, just to accommodate the amount of people that will be there. Then we're going to open event registration. So now we know how many teams are coming, but we need to see how many people are going to be in each event and see if we need to limit entries based off the interest. We're also going to send the day of schedule to coaches and volunteers and make sure that everyone knows what their expectations and roles are for the day of. 1 week prior, volunteers are going to assemble the event envelopes and the event registration is going to close. Alright, not a whole lot left, but the day before the event, we're going to pick up all the rentals. This might be within a day or two, it might be a couple days before the event, it just depends when they will arrive. But we're going to pick up all the rentals and deliver all the rentals and any kind of non-catered food to the facility. We're going to buy the more immediate perishable items, such as for the coach's hospitality room, and those are all going to be delivered to the facility as well. And then one last time, we're going to send out an email to all coaches, staff, and volunteers confirming the day of schedule. Lastly, on the day of the event, everyone is going to arrive to set up early. We're going to have volunteers pick up all of the catering. I've decided that volunteers are going to pick up all the catering because that will eliminate a lot of costs for delivery, and that will have our revenue go way up for the event. And we're just going to have a volunteer and staff meeting and a coaches meeting. Those will be a little bit separate to just go over the day of schedule again. And then we're going to implement the entire schedule. And the schedule will include the order of events, setup, cleanup, all of those things. So I think that about covers it, but that is the plan for my event, which is going to be a Lions Club hosted track meet to create revenue for senior scholarships. Thank you.